back already?
Yep. Take questions.
Whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Kent. Great to be back in the PMAC. Was really thrilled with our players' resiliency, on Saturday in the win in Norman. It was a wild day, wild ending to the game. I thought our guys showed great composure and made big-time plays down the stretch to get the win on the road. And now excited to be back for 3-game homestand at the PMAC starting tomorrow night against South Carolina, 8 o'clock. Meeting with Coach Kelly. Obviously, I have tremendous admiration for what he's trying to do to manage both sports at the same time. Right now, just after visiting with Coach Kelly and Tradez, the academic workload is very heavy, so he's going to be focusing on those academics for the time being, and he'll rejoin us at a later date. And then Damian Collins, you saw injured his shoulder in the game on Saturday. I thought showed incredible toughness. Came back in, had a phenomenal performance, 22 points, 8 of 10 from the floor. Shoulder sore, but with his toughness, I expect he'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Questions?
Is it special when a guy just takes over a game late like Cam did?
2 4-point plays and 2 3-point plays in the same half of basketball. 7-0 run on his own there in the last 20 seconds. He hit big shots. The first 4-point play was huge. We were down 6, and Rob Miller got a big rebound, outlet to Mike Williams, and we kicked ahead, and Cam knocked that one down. To hit the 4-point play there, down 5, and then really can't say enough the press off the made free throw from Cam. Curtis Givens gets the steal and very alertly gets the ball to Cam and spreads the floor out, and Cam makes another just big time winning play, getting to the rim and finishing. So it was a special performance and obviously a much needed one, but was very proud of Cam. And I thought the other really neat thing about it was I saw his post-game interview on the SEC Network, and he made it all about the team, and he really praised Damian Collins for the toughness and grit that he played the game with, and I thought that really spoke highly of Cam.
This is a 2-part question, but what impact does Cam bring to the team, especially as a leader?
Well, I think it starts with his work ethic. Cam's a guy who came here, shot 30% from 3 a year ago, averaged 15 points a game, but it wasn't necessarily as efficient as he would have liked. And I think from the day he got here in the early summer, he's a guy who's lived in the gym every morning. He's really invested a lot of time in his game and set a great example for how to work on an individual basis. And I think you've seen the results of his elite 3-point shooting. And then I thought just his competitive spirit really shined through on Saturday.
He's been the guy consistently in times of need. What effect does that have on the team on the court and in the locker room?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the first part? I'm sorry.
He's just been the guy consistently in times of need, but what effect does that have on the team on the court and in the locker room?
Well, I think on the court, it helps space the floor for us as consistently as he has shot the ball from the perimeter. And then I think he continues to get better. He's at the top of everyone's scouting report, so he's faced a lot of different defensive coverages. And I think you see him getting better in his movement without the ball. He got a couple of threes in the second half, just flying off stagger screens. And I think that impact that he has from a work ethic standpoint and competitiveness, we hope will be contagious as we come down the home stretch here.
I know you guys were kind of forced into it there in the final 3 minutes, but the 5-guard lineup, was there anything that you liked about that maybe you want to continue to explore here over the last 5 or 6 games?
I think it's difficult in this league with the size and physicality. We didn't really have a choice in the last 4 minutes, but I thought the guys handled it really well. The spacing was really good. It opened up some driving lanes for Cam. We also moved the ball really well. I think the big Mike Williams 3 at the top of the key came off some great execution and unselfishness. The challenge of it is the defensive rebounding that certainly has to be addressed there. So I don't know how much of the 5 guards you'll see, but I did think the 4 guard lineup was really efficient for us. The spacing on the floor was a lot better. We had our best 3-point shooting night of the year. 15 assists, only 9 turnovers. I thought it was really effective for us.
You mentioned the resiliency. So what does kind of breaking the glass here do for a team that's had to fight and will have to continue to fight? I guess to give them a reward here in the middle of all this.
Yeah, Michael, I think you hope there's confidence and belief that comes from it. When you stay the course, obviously it's been very challenging. Some tough losses, string together some losses. How do you respond? How do you handle that? And then to be in a late game situation where the execution by our players was just elite. I hope get some confidence as we go into the final third of conference play.
Will Victorious Miller start as well as this? What have you seen in terms of his growth this later in the SEC season?
Yeah, we'll see how practice and shoot around goes going in. As we go down the stretch, I'm not set on any one lineup, but I thought he brought a lot to the table on Saturday, and I thought it was a product of how he practiced during the week. I thought his energy and his effort was really good. I thought you saw his ability to make plays off the dribble with the 4-guard attack, the floor being spaced. In the first half of the game, TJ, we got really good shots. We just didn't shoot it well. And then second half, I thought we stuck to the plan and continued to make the right plays. And Victorious was a big part of that. It led to 59% from the floor. We were 7 of 13 from 3. The execution was the best we've had in a half there in league play, and I thought he was a big part of it.
There was a report about 30 minutes ago that the administration is going to be really backing you guys, I guess this offseason as you look ahead to build this program going forward. Just curious if you felt that, even amidst some of these struggles that, you're going to be, getting some more help, I guess, in that respect, and just kind of maybe your thoughts on that going forward.
Yeah, Glenn, I haven't looked long-term future, been just so dialed in to how do we help our players navigate some of these challenging times that we've been in. How do we keep getting better as a team, and how do we find ways to win games? But I've always been incredibly appreciative of the support that I've received here. It's an absolute honor and privilege to get to coach at a place like LSU with the tradition, the history, the star power over the years in all sports. And so we're going to continue to fight every day and keep working to get better. I love the recruiting class we were able to sign in the early period, and we all know the importance of the transfer portal as you look at college athletics here in 2025.
You mentioned Damian, and as did Cam. I understand that injury is something that he has had to deal with over a number of times. So just could you speak to the grit, I guess, that in the position that he plays, having to deal with that and the explosiveness that he plays with through it?
Yeah, I'll try and give you the short version, but last year he suffered the torn labrum and had that surgically repaired in the offseason. I thought Damian had a phenomenal offseason, really got better, got off to a great start, and then in the Pittsburgh game dislocates his shoulder. It's slipped. It had nothing to do with the surgery. It was a new injury, and he's just battled through. He easily could have shut it down, but I think it's popped out 3 or 4 times now. I just have such admiration for his toughness and his competitiveness to keep coming back and keep responding. And so it was great. He had a lot of family there on Saturday to see him play so well and make such high-level plays. Not only around the rim, but he hit some big shots for us in the second half. And just continues to battle through, and I expect tomorrow will be no different.
I think I missed it. What was Fountains? Was he ill or?
He had an illness.
Okay.
He was an illness on Saturday,
Right.
and we're talking. It wasn't on the injury. Went through shoot around. It happened in the early afternoon before the game. Corey Chest was a back that flared up on him during warm-ups.
And Trey Dash was not hurt?
He was not.
Right, okay. And have you always been of the belief not to call a timeout I think that happened in Central Florida, and then with 8 seconds after the turnover, a lot of coaches would have called timeout, but it seemed to work for you.
Yeah, I think when every situation's different. You know, on the previous possession, we had a play called when we were down 5, and Cam wasn't able to create the separation we were looking for. Oklahoma covered it really well, so I called timeout in the middle of the possession, and we were able to get Cam the ball there on the side out of bounds play, and he got the huge 4-point play. Just in the heat of the moment there when Curtis got the steal, certainly considered using the timeout, but I thought tremendous recognition by Curtis to get the ball to Cam. And then when we saw that the players did a phenomenal job of getting to their spots and spacing the floor, just really liked the matchup of Cam one-on-one out front, and certainly didn't think there was any need to call a timeout. Wanted him to go and make a play while the defense was in a scramble situation.
For this upcoming game against South Carolina, I guess what's the keys to a win?
Well, I think you start, when you look at South Carolina, have been in 6 games that come down to the final possession in our league. So I think you really ignore the record. They're physical, they're tough. Colin Murray-Broyles is an NBA draft pick at the forward position, incredible skill set, physicality. Pringle, who was a part of Alabama's Final Four team, started a lot of games on that Final Four team, provides great physicality and offensive rebounding in the front court. So I think you start there with the rebounding. Their ability to get second shot opportunities is highly concerning for us going in. I think for us to keep getting better, the last 4 games, our ball security's been much better. Not turning the ball over as much, getting more shots on goal. That certainly has to continue for us as we go down the final 6 games of league play.
Coach, is the football-basketball combo, is it just too difficult for somebody to pull off? Or, we never say never, but...
I would say never say never. It's my first time ever with a player doing it at the same time. I think I told you I had a player when I was at Murray State who played for me 4 years, and then in his 5th year eligibility, he moved over to football and played tight end and had great success there. But I can't imagine the time demand, from the football off-season training program. The thing I've been really impressed with Tradez to come in the middle of the year and not know any terminology, any ball screen coverage, side out of bounds under, and go down all the list of things that he's been learning in short order. I think it's a lot on his plate, and has a heavy academic workload this semester. So I think it, in collaboration with Coach Kelly, it's just the best thing for him right now to put his attention there and lock in on the academic side.
Just 2 questions, but from a coaching perspective, what would you say the most difficult obstacles that a player face when approaching a long-term recovery process for serious injuries?
I think it's the mindset, and Jalen Reed certainly is going through that right now, and I've just been so impressed with him. He's got a great outlook on life and how he's going to attack his rehab, how he's handling the adversity of it. Always try and put it in perspective. For a guy who for 20 years has worked toward this goal, he gets off to a great start. He had an unbelievable off season, and then to have it all taken away from you, not to mention having to go through a major surgery, and then the pain and process of the recovery. So I think it starts with the mindset, having a great support system around you, and really being able to see the big picture, which I'm just using Jalen as an example because we're doing it right now. I think he's done a phenomenal job there.
And how are you supporting players such as Jalen with their journey to getting back on the court?
I think you got to just spend a lot of time, and I think it's really important that Jalen's a captain on our team. That he still understands he has great impact and value to this year's team, even though he can't be on the court with them. And then make sure they have the right positive outlook, that they're attacking the rehab on a daily basis, that there's no slippage off the court. When you have the game you love taken away from you, there can't be slippage in the academic world, that you stay the course and stay focused on the things that matter. And I've just been really impressed with how Jalen's attacking this process, and he'll come back better because of it.
TJ? Seven-game losing streak is obviously not fun and not easy to get through, but I guess how have you been able to keep the players engaged and still play with effort even when a game like Ole Miss happens and a disappointing, I guess, outcome in Arkansas?
Yeah, TJ, it's hard. It's tough, very challenging. There's certainly disappointment when you don't get the results and outcomes that you're working for and that you hope for and you desire. So, the challenging piece then becomes, how do you attack that adversity? How do you embrace it? Get back to work. You're trying to find the right balance as a coach of, we got to get better. There's got to be accountability in these areas to improve, but we also have to maintain confidence and belief in each other. And so I would credit the players for Saturday's win. I think, coming to practice, showing up, despite not getting the results you want, focused on getting better, improving. I thought it was the most connected as a team that we had played in a long time. And I thought that was paid forward with the execution down the stretch. Cam Carter stepping up, making huge plays. Curtis Gibbons steal. Damian Collins' toughness and grit. I thought Jai Bailey was a warrior for us. He played basically 39 minutes guarding their post players, and then was really effective for us on the offensive end. So I thought we had a lot of guys really step forward and help us find a way to win. And now we want to build on it and keep getting better. I thought the guys had a good approach to practice today. We know tomorrow is going to be a really physical game against South Carolina. And that's how we'll approach it. Every game's a one-game season, and just keep moving forward.
All right. Does the instant adversity sometimes bring out the best in your team? Like, I think of, just sitting a couple of guys on the bench, not being able to play with a couple, and other guys have to step up, and they did. Like, is that sometimes a lightning in a bottle type thing?
There's probably something to be said for that, especially the timing of everything.
Yeah.
We went from having 3 power forwards in about a 12-hour window to having 0. And so you just got to figure it out. And there's not a whole lot of time to overanalyze all of it. So I think maybe in a crazy way, maybe relaxed some players and allowed them just to go out and enjoy playing. And I think that's one thing you have to be really careful of when you're not winning at the rate you want to win. It's easy to lose the joy and the love of the game that you feel. And so, in a crazy way, maybe relaxed us a little bit, allowed us to go out and play with more confidence. I did think with the 4 guards, with the spacing on the floor and the unselfishness was really good. And the thing that was really stood out was, I know we talk about the end of the game, the 7-0 run by Cam, the finish. But we also have to remember we were down 13, with about 15 minutes to play. And I think that's when you can really splinter, especially when things aren't going well. But to the players' credit, I thought really stayed the course and stayed committed to the plan. And it led to our best offensive output. Of league play, scored 53 points in the second half and found a way to win.
All right.
All right, thanks so much. We'll see everyone tomorrow night.